Paul. Welcome to the first interview of our series of Get to Know the Real Estate Investor. This month we have Paul Falkowski, a very seasoned real estate investor who has seen it all. Paul has a banker background, and he quit his job in 2001 to become a full-time real estate investor. What I love about Paul is his philosophy about business. Real estate is not about the money. It's about buying time to spend with family and friends. Paul and his partner Bob were featured in the 51 Success Stories from Canadian Real Estate Investors, published by Rain in 2007. So thank you, Paul, and let's start with the interview. So can you tell us, how did you start investing in real estate?
I was working with a banking institution full-time, and a real estate investor had come in, and we striked up a conversation after, of course, I did the banking, and I asked that particular person how he had so many mortgages in his name and throughout his business, and it kind of started from there.
Oh, okay. And what has been so far your biggest accomplishment while investing in real estate?
I think there's a lot of accomplishments, but I still think that my biggest one is to come. You just keep moving forward, you keep pushing the envelope. It's after your first one, you want your next one, and then maybe after residential, it's commercial, and maybe you want to build a building. So I think your accomplishments are always growing. So I wouldn't say I've reached that yet.
Yeah, there you go. So far, how many houses and what kind of projects you have been working in real estate?
Um, well, through my business partner Bob and myself, we've purchased over 100 homes. We have kept about 80 properties at that time,
Wow.
and apartment buildings, residential condos, and then we've also built 2 industrial buildings uh, from scratch. We were on site. We were not only the owners, but we were also the general contractors, and we were getting our hands dirty and making sure that the process kept going, and we're learning. We also find that more learning with our hands rather than just book reading. It's actual practical.
There you go. So at this point, what would you consider is a critical factor to get a real estate investment business to the level that you have built yours?
Well, first thing that comes to mind is definite goal planning, pushing the envelope, having your annual goals every January, and then reviewing them at least quarterly. And then, of course, having your breakdown through there, your sub-goals. If you don't have goals, I just don't see where your measurement's going to come to, and you can easily get off track.
Nice. There you go. And right now, in this market that seems to have no shape, what kind of opportunities can you see?
Well, I think there's always opportunity, and there's always 2 sides to the story. So, if it's right now, I think it's a case of again, buying smart, always knowing what you're getting into before you buy it, what your exit strategies are, having more than one, and great prices are down. It's a great opportunity. You just want to make sure that your rent or the money that it's generating, throwing off, can carry you through those downturns. So.
Yeah. And at this point, what would you say has been the most important lesson you have ever learned?
Most important lesson I have ever learned. Well, I can just go to with what's occurred in my life, and I think the biggest thing was not to overthink. Coming in as a new investor, coming into like a moderate investor and then a seasoned investor, not getting too bogged down in all of the information that's around you, and actually putting proven practices through other real estate investors, which we all learn, why reinvent the wheel, and following those systems. And I found every time that I deviated from those systems or tried to change things a little bit, I had a tendency to get burned because I wasn't following through with my tried and true systems. I think that would be the biggest thing.
So you would say make it a system and just keep.
And stick with it. If it's a proven system, don't mess with it. Just keep going.
Keep going with that. That's a very good lesson. And what would you say is your most important habit?
I think it still comes back to goal setting and visualization, and pushing through all of the bad moments in our lives, all of the things that put us off, and just staying back on that, on where you want to go, eyes on the prize. It's so easy to get distracted from different things in life that are pushing and pulling us constantly. So that has to be one of the major, if not number one overall, is to keep your focus and keep reinforcing your focus and keep pushing and moving forward one step at a time. And eventually you get to where you want to be.
There you go. And we heard that we are what we read. Do you have a favorite book, Paul?
Yeah, this was an early one. I still reread it every year, and it's Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I was kind of wallowing, looking for my direction when I was in the banking industry, not happy, searching for something, and I came across his book, and it was a lot of the things that I was thinking, it was a lot of the things that I was saying were really hitting me, like I've said that, or I've done that, and it's still true to this day for me.
There you go. And in terms of the most challenging thing that you have done, what would you say it has been through your career?
The whole thing is a challenge. The biggest challenge for me was when I left my job at the bank, having that security of having a paycheck and something coming in. When I left, it was one of those situations I didn't have anything lined up. It was going to be real estate. So feeling the fear and doing it anyways. So that was a very scary moment in my life, and no regrets, right? I mean, there's a saying out there that people think the security is where the trunk of the tree is, but the real fruit always grows out on the edges. So in life, we have to take risk in order to be able to go out on that and pick the fruit. So
true, that's so true. So at this point, and many of the people that is listening this video are people that are in the fence of investing or not investing or considering real estate. What would you recommend to somebody that just start thinking about real estate as a wealth generation vehicle for them?
Well, I think the biggest thing is not only believing that you can do it, to have your goal set, to build your vision of what you want to do with your real estate. Is it fixer-uppers? Is it pristine properties because you don't have the time or the skills to fix them up, so you want to buy something that's newer or already fixed up? You have to really develop what you want to do as an investor, and then follow people either through a group, books, someone like yourself who's been there, and not make all of those mistakes, because as in real estate, mistakes can cost you money in this environment. So I think it's developing what you want to buy. It's condos, houses, whatever it is. It's buying a property that is more tailored to what your talents are. Either you're a handyman or you're not handy, type of thing. And then just following other people who have done it. Getting some advice and moving forward with proven systems.
There you go. Well, Paul, thank you very much for your time. As usual, it has been a pleasure having you and talking to you.
Thank you.
So, thank you.